Hello, hello. This is Traci Harrell, and I am here with Dr. Larissa Chuprina. Larissa, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are. And say your name again for the recording.
I am Dr. Larissa Chuprina, and I have a doctoral degree in educational psychology with focus on cross-cultural adaptability and self-directed learning.
I love that. What I love about it is, I think I mentioned to you this initiative, this Bigger Than Me Success Series, focused on achieving racial equity and inclusion in business, education, wealth, and health. It includes three elements that you are expert in, which is so exciting. Adaptive leadership. Actually, we start with positive psychology, and you're a happiness coach. I just wrote a best-selling book. I wrote in a best-selling book
Wonderful.
called Ignite Happiness, and you're a happiness coach. So we both focus on positive psychology as number one. This initiative also focuses on adaptive leadership, and you just talked about adaptability. Why that's so important. And the
Yes.
third thing is self-directed learning.
Yes.
You introduced me to the International Society of Self-Directed Learning. It's where I got my expertise and continue to train in that space as well. So you're perfect. So you're going to be on this journey with us. You're definitely going to be part of the next book for sure, because your level of expertise is just perfectly aligned. You and I connected in a very divine way. So let's talk a little bit more about. I loved how you described a little bit more about your thesis. Tell us about your thesis and the three elements of your thesis as related to
Yes.
adaptability and
Adaptability.
change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I find though this dissertation was done a couple of years ago, I see its validity, especially nowadays, because there are three components that can be known or can be given as a tool to people to be better, to adjust better to changes that we experience now. So according to my research, I found out that there is commonality between the ability, self-directed learning readiness and cross-cultural adaptability. And they go across and help each other. So the first one is resilience. And resilience is very important, not to give up, to go, to enjoy every moment and seeing difficulties as an opportunities.
I love that. I love that. It's almost like at Microsoft they use a lot. They talked about the growth mindset a lot, which
Mhm.
is really this idea of learning. That is, you celebrate the learning, you celebrate the growth.
Mhm.
No one knows anything, so we all are in it together
Yeah.
to learn and grow. So you
Mhm.
talked about resilience. That means
Resilience.
change
Mhm.
is hard. So you're basically saying people are going to be comfortable being uncomfortable. We want them to be resilient, to know that it's basically to acknowledge that it's not going to be easy, but if you're resilient and you believe that the end goal can be achieved, then is
Mhm.
that where is that the tool? Is the tool the knowledge that
Mhm.
together we can make a change?
Yes, and being an immigrant and also working with immigrants, I found out that they show the most wonderful stories and models of resilience because they do not have the way to go back. They only know that there is only forward. So a lot of them become entrepreneurs, business owners, and very successful people who really move this progress forward.
Wow,
Yes. So
wow.
factor number two that help us being a good learner and also adjust to any change is to understand self, who we are, and what do we want.
Mm, I love that. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit more about that, because you tell me more about that. What we want, what do we want to accomplish?
It's yes, what we want, what is our program minimum, and what is our bigger goal.
Mm,
And having a bigger goal actually helps to overcome difficulties when you focus on this goal.
I like that. I like that you said having kind of these micro goals and these macro goals. So knowing sometimes just showing up is the goal. The
Yeah.
win is in being in. Being in is the win. Deciding to show up to something like this, deciding to participate, to financially contribute, to just show up,
Yeah.
to say, I want to change, I want to think differently, I want to help those around me to think differently. That is the win. The win is being in. So you're saying
Yes.
that's like a micro goal. I'm not going to change, you know, racial equity and inclusion today,
No, no, not at all.
but if I do this, if I change
Mhm,
myself, then people can just recognize that they will be able to change others.
mhm.
And that,
Yes.
by definition, if we change individuals in the system, we change the system.
Right, definitely. And it is part of resilience to have hope, faith, and trust in yourself and in trust in the process.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that. Trust the
yes.
process. And what is the third element of your what it
Yes.
takes to be adaptable and
Mhm. Yes,
in
actually, to
change?
be open to differences, to be open to change, to understand that life is all about change. Nothing is static. So to
Mm,
be open and to be flexible. So sometimes you need to be curious, right? Curiosity is more effective than to be judgmental. So when we are
mm,
judgmental, we are rigid in our ways in approaching the some of the problems. But if we learn from others and learn from maybe ancient wisdom or um, um, uh, ancient cultures,
I love it.
right, or aboriginal culture, that they know ways of knowledge, different ways of learning. So we
Mm,
can get this wisdom from each other.
I love that. I love that you mentioned the concept of you, in our earlier conversation. You mentioned the concept of togetherness, but I love that
Yes.
you're a PhD who's done all this amazing research, but you also use the term love. You talk about the importance of lovingly doing this work. Why is that important?
You know, I consider myself a humanistic educator. So with humanistic approach, I believe in humanity, and all my work I do for people, and believe that human beings are naturally diverse and smart and diverse being loved. So love is an innate quality of human beings, and this is where we can be maybe stronger than artificial intelligence. Some studies show that animals would not like to live with robots.
Hmm.
They prefer warm-blooded furniture to sleep on. It means on
I love
humans.
that. I love it.
Yes. So human touch, uh, human voice, tone, words spoken from your heart are still the most valuable. It's not things, I would say, possession, not gifts. It's a gifts that humanity can provide and give to each other. So, as a linguist, also, I am advocating for linguistic diversity
Mm,
and to see the beauty of different language, because every word is a concept and an idea.
I
And
love that.
by doing interpreting and translation work sometimes, I also want to give voice to people who cannot speak English
I love
and to
that.
provide also their perspective and to see their beauty and depth of their knowledge.
I love that. I love that, Larissa. So tell us a little bit more about, again, if you were giving advice to an ally,
Mhm,
someone who is, watched that video of George Floyd
mhm,
being murdered
mhm.
on television, When you saw that, I'm just curious, what did you think? What did you feel when you saw that?
It was very sad and very, very disturbing, especially when it is considered to be like a reality show rather than a human life is at stake.
Right.
Uh, and I also believe that every life matters. So life matters. Life matters.
I agree. You understand, as someone who's not from this country, I agree, because I used to say life matters, all lives matter. I 100% agree with that. I think life matters in general. Do you understand why Black people are saying, or asking people to acknowledge that Black lives matter? Do you understand that why?
Definitely. Yes,
How
there
do you,
is
how would you
definitely.
describe it? How would you describe it to your friend who just kind of came here from?
Mhm.
How would you describe it to someone else?
I
To an
watched,
ally.
yes, I actually watched yesterday an interview with the NBA uh, player
Hmm.
who is successful, who has financially independent. However, he still is afraid for the life of his son and coaches him how to behave if he is stopped by the police. We, as people who are white, we really don't even think that it is a possibility to live this way.
Hmm.
So I understand there is a bias towards the color of the skin.
So what
Um,
would, so what would you say to someone who there's still people who don't believe there's any issues.
mhm,
There are literally still people who to this day, right now, are like, all lives matter. And I do believe all lives do matter.
mhm. But you know, I really support the work and approach of Martin Luther King,
Tell me
because
about that.
you can solve the problem only with love, not violence.
100% agree with that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we all
Mhm.
100%
Yeah.
agree with that. Agree with that concept. It disturbs me when I see
Mhm.
the
Yes.
you know
And
the
yeah.
fires and the things that are
Mhm.
happening. It is quite disturbing
It is
for
disturbing,
sure.
and it does not
But
does
uh,
not support the cause. It works the opposite.
it doesn't. Do you know that a lot of times the people that are doing it are not part of the cause, right?
I know,
Which is
yes,
really the super disturbing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and you know, I know I've read about different studies showing that it is the Black people who show the Good Samaritan qualities most of the time.
Mm,
Those who help each other and who really very kind-hearted and really supportive. So by showing some good qualities, innate qualities, to focus on goodness, I
I
think this
love
is
that.
a better way to show value of everybody's.
I love it. And again, that's literally part of the reason why before I started getting deeper into this work from the outside
Mm-hmm,
in, I started a ministry
mm-hmm,
because I knew that I needed to heal myself. I needed to be in a loving position. I needed to just
mm-hmm,
make sure I was connected with source at all times. When it gets hard, we got a place to land and people to
mm-hmm,
divine energy to tap into, because it really is hard work. And when you talk about adaptability and change,
mm-hmm.
is there any other words of wisdom that you would want to share as it relates to um, kind of the combination of
Mm-hmm.
adapting and changing, being resilient, knowing yourself, the discovery process? All the things you're talking about are critical to the process. So, if you had to provide a very quick update, you get 2 minutes. You get one
All
minute to
right,
2 minutes.
all right.
Satya Nadella just walked in, and
All
you're
right.
going to talk to Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, and you're going to tell him real quick
Mhm.
who you are and why your research on adaptability and change is important and what he and his team needs to focus on. Your three things. You got
Yes,
2 minutes. Give it to him.
yes. Happy people are more resilient and creative. That is where my positive psychology approach kicks in education, in coaching. So providing people with some emotional, cultural support within the organization will uh, will help people to give back like tenfolded times. If the mother is happy, who stays home with her children, right? Then the father who works for Microsoft will be happier and more productive. But also, if he is understood as a human being and gives time to relax and do the job he loves, and to show it in a way appropriate to his culture and maybe language, then it would be even more creative.
Mm.
So seeing people in their all um, from multicultural perspective as a gift, as talents, as contribution, to see us growing from one root but giving different fruit
Mm.
will bring us together in the humanistic and humane society, in collaborating and cooperating. Technology, if can help humanity be better, but not to compete for life. Also, corporations can support education, and education provide this workforce that is capable to move progress forward. For children to be happy to go to school, whether it's at home or somewhere else, that helps them to understand who they are and learn subjects or skills they are really passionate about. So my understanding of diversity goes beyond the skill, but it goes back inside what you bring, what your experience, and what your passion about.
Wow.
And that's why
Wow.
love and heart matters.
Wow. I you are amazing. You're amazing. So I want to ask you another question. Something that came up as I was having conversations with other allies, amazing, wonderful people.
Mhm,
Even the conversation that I'm going to have at 6:30 with someone, Karen, she's amazing. And you know, the first thing she said was, "I'm really not equipped." We were talking about change and adaptability. Like we got to drive change as it relates to achieving racial equity and inclusion in business, education, wealth, and health. We all agree that these are systems that need to be changed.
mhm,
But white people, wonderful, awesome white people, non-black people are like, you know what? I don't think I'm equipped. Like I don't know enough about this. I'm not ready. Fortunately, she and I know each other. We trust each other. We love each other. So she was like, I was able to say that's all I need you to say. Because basically, her being able to admit that she doesn't know, admit that she's uncomfortable even having a conversation like this because she doesn't really know is exactly what I need for her to say. As a white woman, a beautiful
mhm,
blonde white woman, other people who look like her, other women in power, other men in power who see her as someone that they can immediately trust, that similarity bias in a good way, that kind of lands for her, right? So I'm basically saying it's like the Me Too movement, right? Some black woman started the Me Too movement. It didn't take off until white women said, "Me too." Now all of a sudden it's a trend. Now it's a valid concern that needs to be addressed. So I'm like, I just need you to bring your white voice to this conversation and see if you can ignite some
mhm,
level of energy, some
mhm,
level of validity around the work that we're doing, which is absolutely amazing. But perhaps you could get more people engaged in it than I will. So my question to you is: you got a lot of people who are afraid, wonderful, awesome people who are afraid because this is unknown territory. We're trying to fix something
mhm.
that's been broken for hundreds of years. So,
Yes.
has your research, as
Mhm,
related to this concept of resilience, and
Yes.
adaptability and
Yes.
change. How did the
Yes.
concept of fear come into play?
Yes. Yes. It is positive psychology, and being a happiness coach, I understand, not only me, but based on research, fear is emotion, and actually biases and racial discrimination is also based on fear. But our brain can work um, only in one mode. We can choose to operate through love or fear. It cannot hold two opposite thoughts, and it can be our choice.
Wow.
Right, just like happiness, you can choose to be happy, and like old Russian saying said, if you want to be happy, be. So you, yes,
I love it.
yes,
Just be.
yeah,
Have
just
you read my
be.
story yet? I don't know if you read my story yet in
I
Ignite
have not
Happiness,
read yet. I would
but
love
there,
to.
so
Yeah,
so I sent you a link. I'll make sure
maybe
you get
you're
the thing.
Russian and you don't know about it.
I actually there's a line where I say
Yeah,
it was like my joyful
yeah,
ignite moment where it was like I could just be. There
exactly.
was such peace in that. I was already kind of being happiness along the way, but it's like that's the choice
A
to just
choice.
be.
Yes, exactly. So it can be also your choice. If you start feeling fear of uncertainty, you can pause a moment and choose what perspective I am coming from. And it can be love for life, love for beauty, love for you being successful, love for yourself, love for your children, love for the country, right? And B, again, there is a Ukrainian toast, budьмо, which means let us be. Let us be who we are, let us be who we want to be, and let us be free in our expression.
Mm.
So coming back to human beings, this is what can unite us as allies on all levels. And it is possible to create society. There are cases in history when people achieve this harmony. There were a period in history in some countries, like Scandinavian countries, that really built society around the concept of cooperation, collaboration, because one group cannot be happy at the expense of another. We can do it only together. Yeah, viruses also do not discriminate, right?
Larissa, you are so amazing. You really are amazing. Everything that you shared today is just 100%. It's right on, like on the mark.
Mhm.
Amazing, perfectly aligned. I know you're gonna be changing hearts and minds. I love that you bring this PhD academic approach to this
Yes,
conversation. I love it. I love it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Can
so
I add something? Maybe
please,
include,
totally.
please support me, buy tickets for
Oh yeah.
Impact Pitch. I am participating.
What is
I
it?
Impact Pitch,
Hold on, you got to spell it. What is it?
Impact, North
IMPAC impact.
Pitch,
You're
PATCH.
talking about the pitch. You're talking about
Yeah,
the I'm sorry. You're talking about
yes,
the
yes. I am
impact north.
presenting my idea.
When is it? When is it?
It will be probably on 30th of September, but
So it's the Business Impact Northwest. I know the pitch you're
yes,
talking about. I actually
exactly.
submitted something for it as well. It's the
Right. Yeah.
Business Impact Northwest pitch. What is the name of your what was your pitch? What was your
Joyful,
business?
joyful resilience.
Which is tell us about it.
It's a comprehensive program for immigrants, how to understand self and to learn skills they want to be successful in this country. And also to help organizations and corporations to be more adaptable to diverse workforce, to understand their value, how to communicate and how to create this environment so they would be more contributing. And everybody is happy when they are contributing members.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome. So Business Impact Northwest pitch. So go online and look that up. And when you join the event, you need votes or something. How can people support you? Or is it
Probably
just
yes. I am
they need to
still
show up
in
for
the
the event?
process of creating my video. There will
Mm-hmm.
be a competition of video.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and there will be support from the audience or idea or business model or
Well, if
something.
you need help in any way, let me know. You know, I could even potentially do. How long does your video need to be?
Oh, 3 minutes.
Oh, so
So
you
yeah,
gotta knock that out. It's like bing,
yeah.
bing, 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 bing. I love it. Let me know if you
But
need
I
any help with that.
appreciate if you can
Yes,
give me some points and
I'm
help
in.
me.
Anything I can do, count me in. I'm 100% in. Larissa, this has been absolutely
Mhm.
amazing. You are, you're fascinating. I love that you're intellectually uh, uh, applying your intellectual prowess in this topic of adaptability and change. So thank you so much for what you've done. Again, we look forward to continuing to bring this conversation forward. We'll meet again, obviously. I'll bring you into one of my Sunday sessions as well, and we'll be able to go even deeper with some other individuals. So thank you so much. I am so glad we had this one-on-one time together. We'll do it again.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was so terrific to see you again, so brilliant, vibrant, and
You're so lovely.
happy, yes, and
You're so
creative, yes.
you're lovely.
Thank you for
Let me
what
ask
you're
you.
doing.
Let me ask you one other question. How do you define the word ally?
Ally, people working together, going in the same direction.
How do you define adaptive leadership or being
To be,
adaptive or adaptability?
yes, adaptive to learn on the way. To
Tell me
be,
more.
to be accepting to different ways of learning and being.
Mm. So let's talk about change. What's your definition of change and why is change important?
Change is something which is constant.
So what about when you're trying to be intentional? Like this whole initiative is about intentionally achieving
Mhm.
racial equity and inclusion
Yes.
in business, in
Hmm.
education, in wealth and health,
Yes.
and these major systems.
Hmm.
So when you think about change, what is your definition of change, or what recommendations do you have for change in systems to change a
Um,
system?
mhm. Within the system, it can be both from both directions. It can be in collaborative way. So grassroots, like what you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
should meet with leadership. So to meet somewhere on the common ground, to see that it is for the goodness of all, that they will benefit from this as well. They would not need to spend so much as to protect the system when they invest this in people. For now, what I see, they invest more in technology and sort of like create robots to substitute people. How can we collaborate so that technology should be in support of humanity, not against, and
I
also
love it.
leadership, part of humanity.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. You're amazing. We are going to get connect again soon. This is Traci Harrell, and I've had the pleasure to talk to Dr. Larissa Chuprina. What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Thanks.